He tells me that he had issues with his family.
Many.
He says to me that he was separated from his family. His family wouldn't talk to him.
Exactly.
And do you know, he just told me something. He whispered something in my ear. He said to me, before I met you, I thought about ending my life. So this was your brother that passed.
Yes.
Your stepfather had departed.
Yes.
And first of all, you understand about the smoking.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I'm connecting, you got to know that I experience your loved ones in many different ways. And when I'm connecting, all I kept smelling is cigarette smoke that's here when I'm connecting. Letting you know that they're here when I'm speaking. It's funny because your stepfather was like your dad here in the physical world.
Yes, he was.
Because he tells me that he raised you. And you got to know that in spirit, it all goes by the connection that we had with them. He actually is telling me that when he was here, he remembers of you back when you were younger here in the physical world. He goes, and Matt, he goes, you got to know that even though she was my daughter, he goes, she was right on the side of me no matter what. No matter what I was doing, she was doing. What are you feeling, the chills over there?
The chills, my leg hair, arm hair, everything's standing on end.
Know that one of the things is this. Your stepfather is here because the moment I'm connecting with him, he says to me that, first of all, he's the one that's watching over you in spirit. He tells me that you've been through some health scares yourself and some health struggles yourself, he tells me. Number one is anxiety when I'm speaking to him.
Yeah, especially in the last couple months.
He tells me, because he says to me, Matt, I want her to know that the same way I was protective with her in life, I'm protective on the other side. He tells me about you going through anxiety struggles and panic struggles and all of these things. He says, and tell her, I'm okay. He says, I'm okay, and I'm watching over her, and I want her to be okay. He says, because first of all, your brother's passing was the hardest thing that you had to go through here in this world. When I'm connecting, it was really tough because you and your brother loved each other, but there was also strain on the relationship, he's telling me.
Yeah, I'm black sheep of the family.
Well, listen, you might be saying that you're the black sheep of the family, but your brother's also telling me when I'm connecting with him, Matt, there were things that I should have done differently. And I'm sorry for not communicating with her. I'm sorry for pushing her out of my life. He says, but there were things that I got involved with that I'm not proud of. Because he tells me there were addiction issues that he was fighting here in this world.
Yes.
So it wasn't just you that he stopped talking to. He tells me there were other family members that hadn't heard from him, hadn't seen him, didn't know where he was. And he keeps saying to me, Matt, I ruined my life, I ruined my life. Because when I'm connecting with him, he also tells me that there were times where he was in trouble with the police as well when I'm speaking to him.
Yes.
Because he shows me, and he talks about having to go to jail when I'm speaking to him. So know that he's showing me flashbacks of his life, and he's talking about not being proud. So I have to tell you this because he shows me that one of the hardest things is that after his passing, you went back through and you're like, oh my God, I wish that I would have gotten to be there for him. I wish that I would have gotten to help him through all of this. You didn't even know about all of the struggles that he was dealing with his pills and the addiction issues and all of these things until after he died.
Right.
Because he keeps saying to me in my ear, I hear things repeated, he kept telling me in my ear, tell her she didn't know, she didn't know, she didn't know. When souls do you wrong here in this world, or when they're strained on a relationship, whatever it is, not only will they come through to a medium to try to make it right, but your brother's here because he wants to let you know that he's watching over you every single day. He says to me, and Matt, I don't want her anxiety and her worries and her fears turning into other things because you keep thinking that there's serious health issues wrong with you or that there's more issues than what you're dealing with. He says, and it's all your anxiety. It's all building up within you. And he says to me, Matt, you got to tell her to let things go, let things go. She can't handle everyone else's life problems. He says she has to just worry about herself.
That's true.
Know that your stepfather is here as well because when I'm connecting with him, this is really interesting. He's also telling me that there was separation at the end with him, where you were not allowed to see him or weren't allowed to talk to him. There was this whole distance between you and him and your relationship.
The night before he passed away, I couldn't talk to him. We got into a fight, and I went to a sleep study, and then I found out the next day that he had passed.
Okay. So you had a fight with him or falling out right beforehand, and then the next day you found out that he died. That would be why. Because he shows me like this. He kept telling me, Matt, I need her to remember the times when we were close. I need her to remember the moments that we had because every single day, he tells me that you haven't been able to forgive yourself with his death. Every single day, you go back through and you think about the time that he died. You think about the way that he left this world and you not being able to say goodbye, being able to talk to him. And you think that he's mad at you, upset with you, angry with you on the other side. And the same thing with your brother. He says to me, Matt, you have to let her know that I'm not upset with her. You need to let her know that I've watched her in pain every single day since my passing. He's talking about a picture that I see like that's tucked in a mirror.
That would be my boyfriend that passed away in November.
Oh, shut the hell up. So he died too.
Of suicide.
And you have his picture tucked into the mirror.
I have them posted on a wall right next to my bed. He had given me a ring, yeah, and then we got into a part where we were going to split up, and that's when it happened.
Okay. So know that one of the things is that this is all the things that you've been dealing with every day. This is where your anxiety and your worry and your panic and all of these things are coming from. I have to tell you that his soul is also here because he just showed me a vision of a picture being tucked in the mirror. And know that one of the things I have to tell you is that for his soul to be here right now, it's his way of letting you know on the other side that first of all, he's sorry for what came in between you and him. You know, this is really tough. He says to me, Matt, he says, when I came to her, when she came into my life, he says, I came to her a broken person. He says, I had many things wrong with me within my life. He tells me that he had issues with his family.
Many.
He says to me that he was separated from his family. His family wouldn't talk to him.
Exactly.
And you know, he just told me something. He whispered something in my ear. He said to me, before I met you, I thought about ending my life. He had these conversations with you.
Yes.
And he says to me that he didn't know if God was real. He didn't know if the afterlife was real. But he said to me, he had a conversation with God. And he says, listen, if you don't want me to end my life, if you want me to be here, you need to put someone in my life. And he says that God put you.
That's exactly what happened. He was going through very hard times.
He says to me that you came in and you rescued him from everything. He says that he was about to take his life. He met you and you put his whole entire life back together. You gave him a family. You gave him a reason to live. You helped him with a job. He tells me about a job that you were getting him and to put him back to work, all of these things. So know that even though he didn't know, your stepfather and your brother and all these people, they're all there together on the other side. They're your team. And now they're looking out for you. Because what's tough is that since his passing, he tells me that you've completely closed down, that you don't want to love again, you don't want to be in a relationship again, that there's all this hurt and pain that you've been left with. And he says to me, Matt, you need to let her know that first of all, the reason why he left the relationship wasn't because he didn't love you or care about you. He says, I didn't know how to be a husband. I didn't know how to be a better person to her. I didn't know how to be in a relationship. And he wants to say that he's sorry.
Thank you.
This is really tough because all of his passing was left on you.
Yes.
And he shows me that still to this day, you keep thinking, oh my God, what if we didn't split up? What if I was still in his life? He says, Matt, you need to let her know that she gave me opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to get my life together.
I did. 70 years.
He says, and I lied to her. He tells me there were promises that I did not keep. And for that, I'm sorry.
Many empty promises.
But know that one of the things is that he does not want you to think about him and for that to stop you from finding love, for living the life that you want. He says to me, Matt, let her know that I just want her to be free. At the end of this event, he says, I want her to leave this room and know that we're all with her. And that if you could see him now, he's smiling, he's happy, and that he's one of the angels that are watching over you every day.